guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl DJ Nana Truth here, back with another video. Alright guys, so I'm going to be doing the L Word Generation Q episode 5 labels review. So just a quick episode description just to give you a brief preview of what's going on. Bet feels guilty about lying to Angie. Some unexpected news throws Shane for a loop. Alice, Gigi, and Nat find common ground. Danny and Sophie deal with the bombshell dropped on them by Danny's father. Finley bonds with Tess, and Micah and Jose grow closer. As we start off, before we even get into what's going on in the episode, you see it's a little messy, but we're gonna talk about it. As per usual, every episode begins with a recap of the last episode. After the recap, we go ahead and flash to Shane in her bed with her wife Kira. They're in a bed, they start, clearly what seems to be like they're gonna start having sex or whatever. They exchange, how much they miss each other or whatnot. But then, of course, Kira drops the bomb on Shane at that particular moment that she's pregnant. You go into the actual series intro of the whole show, and then you flash right back to Kira talking to Shane about dropping the pregnant bomb on her and telling her that she doesn't need Shane to be a parent, just a partner, whatever the fuck that means, and that it's her dream basically to be a parent as to why she decided to get pregnant. Shane pretty much is, shook and, just embraces her and tells her that she scares her. And I'm sure she's just like, she scares her with crazy shit that she does, basically. Alice, Nat, and Gigi wake up in a bed together. As we saw in the last episode, they started this whole throuple situation and had a threesome, so yeah, that happened. Nat got up first and she seemed like she was a tad bit irritated over the whole situation in general. The kids, of course, start banging on the door, sending everybody into a frantic trying to get Gigi out the house. Luckily, somebody thought smart to lock the fucking door, because any other time they don't lock the door for whatever fucking reason, and the kids are always barging in on them at the most inopportune times. But in the midst of them getting all their shit together to get Gigi out the house, Alice and Gigi share this little fucking moment of bondage, I should say, when they're talking about one of the kids' book reports and if they did it. And Nat clearly didn't like it because she had no idea of a book report even being had. Alice and Gigi clearly was having a little bond moment, and Nat was not fucking with it at all. After they get Gigi out the house and shit though, Alice and Nat basically both say at the same time, addressing something about the threesome. Alice said it was good, Nat said in a stern voice that they need to talk about it, a clear indication that she wasn't happy that the shit even went down. Even though Alice pretty much tells her, well, you started the shit. The shit wouldn't have happened if you wouldn't have started it, which she did. So yeah. Bet drops off Angie and her little friend Jordy at school. As they're sitting in the car, they're discussing this play that Jordy and Angie is apparently going to be in at the school. Bet ends up getting the call from her little side piece Felicity, but she ignores the call and blatantly lies to Angie when she asks her who's calling her, like she's not of age and can't read and see who the fuck was calling her. But she tries to just change the subject and ask Jordy if her parents are coming to the play. Jordy clearly lies and says that they just texted her saying that they weren't coming. Like I said, it was a clear lie because she didn't get no text that fucking fast. Also, in the midst of this car little conversation, Ange was pretty much telling Bet that she didn't want her to come to the play. But in the interim of everything that happened in the car, she ends up texting Bet after she gets out the car. Her and Jordy get out the car that she wants her to come for Jordy's sake. So yeah, clearly something going on with Angie and Jordy, but I'm sure we'll figure out what the fuck is up later. So then we go on to Tess. She shows up, at Dana's, which is Shane's bar. We figure out basically that she's a recovering alcoholic. I say that because she calls her AA sponsor as soon as she enters the facility to get some support, basically, to not drink. She didn't drink this time, but in the midst of all of that, as she's trying to open up shop and shit, she finds Finley passed out in the back, clearly fucking passed out drunk, as we saw in the last episode that she ended her night drunk, pissy drunk. Tess clearly bonds with Finley over their alcohol issues and without saying it basically, and invites her to get a sober lunch. So they go out to lunch. Then we go ahead and flash to Bet's office. Now I already talked about what happened in this scene in my episode 5 clip teaser, so I'm not really going to talk about it. All I'm going to say is that Shane does a very funny country accent in this scene. That's all I'm going to say. Just watch this video. You don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, or you don't know what's going on. But I already talked about it, so I'm not going to talk about it again. Okay, so we go ahead and move on to Danny and Sophie. So Danny and Sophie's sister are hanging out at the house and shit. Danny goes out, gets the mail, sees that they got some mail from her father. a box of chocolates, and of course it comes with a stern side, and he done sent these motherfuckers a prenup. So once again, he's trying to control Danny and Sophie's wedding and their life, basically. Sophie like, whatever, I don't give a fuck. If this is what he wants, I'll go ahead and sign it. It ain't that big of a deal. All I want is you. Danny not for that shit. She like, nah, fuck that. We not signing this. It's not happening. In the midst of them going back and forth about the situation, Sophie's sister, who happens to be an immigration lawyer, takes a look at the prenup, and lo and behold, this motherfucker had a clause put in there that basically if Sophie is the one who births children, those children that come out of her have no right to Danny's family's money. Versus if Danny is the one who births children, those children have access and all rights to his family's or their family's money. So yeah, once again, he's controlling the situation. Definitely the girls aren't for that shit at all, and they both just like fuck him and over him on his latest little antics, and yeah, it doesn't go over well at all. Micah and Jose make an appearance in this scene as well. They end up coming downstairs from what I assume is Micah's room. Doing a little small talk to the door, nothing really major to fucking rehash at the end of the day. Jose drops an L-word bomb on Micah at the door while he's showing him out. Of course, Micah doesn't say it back and kind of just brushes off the situation. The girls try to engage him on the whole love word and the feelings and all of that shit, but he ain't for it, and he just thinks it was a mistake. But the girls is like, absolutely not. He clearly is fucking with you, so yeah. Like I said, Tess invited Finley out to lunch. So they out at this lunch and shit. Finley is sharing that, you know, she did some drunk shit last night. She can't remember what she did. She don't know what she said. Of course, Tess expresses knowledge of her drinking problem clearly because she can relate. And we find out she has been sober for 2 years. In the midst of them having lunch and sharing stories and talking and conversing and bullshit, Lena ends up texting Tess and telling her that, you know, she's sorry and that she's moved out and lives with her mother now. So of course she takes that hard and they're going back and forth. Tess pretty much shares that, you know, she had to give up drinking and start feeling feelings and stop hurting the people she loves. Versus Finley, where she's saying this is why she drinks. She doesn't want to feel anything and have to deal with any of the shit that she caused, basically. In a nutshell, what happened in this scene. Also, we figure out that Tess' mom is a showgirl. I don't think it's pertinent, but whatever, we figured it out. So we go back to this throuple situation, and all three of them are talking about it in a threesome and basically inquiring about if it's even going to happen again. Alice and Gigi are on board. Nat is not. She's not on it because she feels like Gigi has ulterior motives because, you know, obviously they were married before. They both have unfinished emotional business with each other. It's clear. It's very obvious. So they go back and forth for a little while and exchange some harsh words and shit, and Nat is just basically getting a whole bunch of shit off of her chest and how she feels and how the situation came to be, and she doesn't like how Gigi can basically fuck up everything and still have everything at the same time. So they have their words. She get everything off her chest, I believe, and long and behold, the scene ends with them holding hands. So like I said, Danny's dad presented them both with the prenup papers in the mail. So Danny and Sophie takes it upon themselves to go to his office to confront him about the shit. And Danny was the lead in the situation, as she should be, and confronted her father and was not for the shits. He tried to play her like crazy, or play them like crazy, talking about the clauses standard, that the lawyer told him that it was just a standard clause put in, which is a bunch of bullshit. Danny saying that it ain't no prenup happening. Sophie lets him know, you know, I know you don't think I'm good enough for her, and he just like, no, I'm just trying to protect my family, blah, blah, blah. In a nutshell, Danny tells him to fuck off and storms off on his ass, which she should have did a long ass time ago from fucking episode 2. But whatever, that's her father, whatever. But he deserved everything he got in this little scene, so good for Danny for finally sticking up for herself and for Sophie. So then we move back to Shane's bar. She arrives at the bar and Tess is in there, you know, setting up shop, taking inventory, all that good jazz. And Shane is confronting Tess about a missed delivery. Tess says she did miss it, and Shane pretty much is like, okay, well, can I trust you to handle this? Do you got this? And Tess, out of frustration, of course, well, yeah, I can handle it if you can stop fucking my girlfriend. So she drops the bomb and let Shane know that she, you know she fucked Lena. Shane apologizes and shit and tell her she's gonna make it up to her, but I mean, how could she really? Lena wasn't there, and apparently she wasn't coming in to her, but Finley was filling in for her. So Shane told Tess to watch Finley, of course, because Shane knows that Finley is an alcoholic. And while we're talking about Finley goes head to the girl Becca's house to apologize for showing up at the girl house drunk. Now, the chicken nukes Becca says that she wasn't mad that she came over her house, you know, fucked up. She was mad about what she said. She reminds Finley about what she said. Finley looks fucking distraught over what she said and can't believe that she even said that shit. When a girl, Becca, tries to inquire about if she actually believes that, Finley doesn't really answer, so which tells me that that's what she believes. So old girl tells Finley that she's basically not ready for a relationship and definitely not ready for a relationship with her, and telling her basically because she has so many issues and shit that she has to deal with, that she has yet to deal with, that a relationship is not going to work out. Finley says she wants to be better, and Becca make her wants to be better, but Becca tells her that she can't fix people, and that she tried to do that before in a relationship with a man and it didn't work out, because you can't change people and people show you who they are and that's who they are, so you are supposed to believe it. Point blank and period. So their little relationship shit gets ended at that particular junction. She asks Finley to leave. Finley can't do shit but, you know, sob and walk her bike away and leave the scene. So she goes off of old girl's property and calls her father. She immediately gets all choked up even further as she calls him out, and he discloses that her sister is getting married, which she clearly didn't know about. Her father ended up rushing her off of the phone because her mother was coming nearby him. So we pretty much get to the root of who it is that hurt Finley, and it's clearly her family. It's owning her or whatever the case may be, but it's definitely them. So we figured that out finally. So after Danny and Sophie confronted Danny's father, of course they leave the scene in the car, and Sophie is congratulating Danny on standing up for her and standing up for their relationship, and tells her how much it meant to her that she's doing her. She's pretty much opening up her heart and showing her appreciation to Danny, and Danny is being just extremely fucking cold and despondent, and she disconnected. Tells her that she just needs to be alone. She just needs time to process everything, and she just doesn't want to talk about it. She just want to deal with it by herself. That clearly bothered Sophie. I mean, y'all about to be a whole ass married and you can't confide and talk to your wife about some shit that just happened. So yeah, she ends up dropping Sophie off, and that car ride didn't end well at all. Flashback to Tess. They're clearly lingering on this whole her and her sobriety little situation. So she's back at Dana's in the back room, and she's blowing up Lena's phone. Lena doesn't answer. She's clearly having a struggling moment with alcohol, and she caves in. She drinks. Point blank and period. Okay, so we gonna move on to Micah and Jose. Alright, so they chilling and talking on the couch. Jose asks Micah if he loves him. Micah hesitates, says he's been thinking about it all day, and he keeps thinking to himself, what is it that Jose wants? And Micah asks Jose if he even knows. Jose says no. Micah reassures him that that's okay, and that he likes Jose, and that should be enough. And that is enough right now between them, just that they like each other. Then we go to Micah asking Jose to try something. He goes and beats around the bush to get into the whole asking of what it is that he wants. He says that he wants to try something with him, but he doesn't. He's afraid that either one of them are not going to like it, or one is going to like it over the other, or they're going to expect it each time. Whatever the case, he's clearly apprehensive about what it is that he's going to ask Jose to do. Jose reassures Micah of whatever it is that he wants to ask him, just go ahead and, you know, we'll just take it on a situational basis, basically what I got from it. So Micah goes in and grabs Jose's hand and puts it in his crotch and start rubbing his crotch area. I don't know what's down there, I don't know, but they began making out and doing some rough make out and taking off clothes and shit. And yeah, Jose puts his hand down Micah's pants and starts doing a motion to stimulate some type of sex going on. Look, this is a touchy subject. I don't know what was going on. All I can say is what it looked like, and what it looked like to me is that Jose was fingering Micah's vagina. That's what it looks like. I'm sorry, the motion just looks like a finger motion. Didn't look like a hand job motion, so I guess it's safe to assume at this particular point that Micah doesn't have the bottom surgery and he still has his female parts down there, because like I said, it looked like he was getting fingered. So yeah, I'm just gonna leave it right there. That was what was happening. I can't say more, I can't say less. I don't know. That's what was happening. Yeah, moving on. We gonna move back to Tess. Like I said, she didn't make it. She had a little relapse in the bar. I mean, obviously, how does a recovering alcoholic stay sober if they work in a bar? Whatever. She's at the bar. She's clearly lit. She's clearly fucked up. and she's just having a good old time. Finley shows up to work her shift, and they share a little shot together and pretty much are both fucked up manning Shane's bar. And we go back to Bet in this whole Felicity situation. So her and Felicity meet up, and Bet, of course, is meeting up with her to end shit. Felicity has ulterior motives or other things in store and tells Bet that she's moved out, that she got her own spot, and that she can finally cook for her, and pretty much going on as if they're about to have this whole ass relationship. Bet pretty much killed that shit and just like, nah, that's not happening. We have to end this. My campaign is at stake. My life's at stake. My daughter's life is at stake. And yeah, so they ended. Even though Felicity wanted Bet to fight for her, Bet wasn't for that shit, and she just deaded everything. And yeah, their situation at this point is technically over. Felicity storms off. And then we're back on the throuple. All three of the ladies are hanging out and discussing their whole little throuple situation and how they're going over any possible situations that may come up, I guess, in this new little union that they're going to proceed with. They even discuss telling the kids about it. Gigi wants to, and Nat and Alice don't. So this particular junction, it doesn't seem like they're going to tell the kids of what's going on with their situation, which I don't think they should. It's not their fucking business. Yeah, they're just talking about their little throuple situation and how they're gonna deal with it in everyday life situations in a nutshell. Like I said, Danny dropped Sophie off after they had that horrible car ride, after the heroic confronting that Danny did to her father over the prenup bullshit. But once Sophie gets home, she's all upset. She completely forgot that her and her sister were supposed to be meeting up to go to the movies. Her sister's sitting there waiting in the house like, I'm waiting on you, or what the fuck, what's going on? She sees that she's upset, and they get to talking about what happened with Danny and Danny's father, and Sophie pretty much shares that, you know, she's concerned that she can't get Danny to open up to her, and how is she going to be able to get her to open up to her before they actually walk down the aisle and become wife and wife. Danny, dealing with it in her own way, goes to the campaign office to, I'm sure, drown herself for work to forget about what happened. But she didn't know Bet was actually at the office after her little run-in with Felicity. Danny is obviously upset after everything that happened, you know, in tears, emotional looking. Bet, you know, comes up on her and tries to figure out what's going on. Danny was hesitant at first, but she finally just let her guard down and let it out that she hated her father and just upset with him over everything, and she couldn't even get everything else out because of how upset she was. Hurts and is a good thing at the same time. So she's dealing with those emotions, and Bet was there for her, embraced her, and just let her cry it out, which she needed to do. Go ahead and keep talking about Shane and this wife. Now, if y'all saw, I wasn't for this wife situation for Shane, but it's starting to grow on me. Old girl shows up at Shane's door with a bottle of whiskey and pretty much tells Shane that she doesn't need her, but she wants her. So, in a nutshell, that she's willing to wait for her however long it takes for her to make her decision, and she doesn't want to get a divorce from her, and she just wants to be with her. Shane doesn't really give an answer, but I think she does, because she invites her to go to Ange's play with her, disguising it as, I'm sure all the ladies will want to see you. So all of them show up for Ange and Jordy's play. The throuple shows up together, Shane and her wife show up, and Bet is there. As Ange asks when Jordy opens up the play, they go crazy for her because, of course, nobody was there for her, so they showed her mad love, and you can tell that meant a lot to her. The play goes on. The throuple was seen, all holding hands, which, of course, threw everyone for a loop. Then Angie appears on the stage for like all of a couple of fucking seconds, and they go crazy doing that embarrassing shit that I'm sure all of your parents do. After the play, though, they all reconvene together. Bet presents Angie and Jordy with some flowers. Jordy thanks Angie, you know, for having her family go above and beyond for her, and the applauding. They share googly eyes with each other. Like I said, there's clearly something going on. You know, Shane, Alice, and everyone all surround the girls, and Shane and Ange have a little sidebar moment where Shane is asking her if she likes Jordy. Ange says yes, and then Shane basically confirms for Ange that Jordy likes her too, and she can tell by the way that they look at each other. And in the background, Kara sees this interaction, and of course, in her brain, I'm sure, we're supposed to assume that she's thinking, no, oh, okay, well, she can be a parent. We have to go back and flash to Finley and Tess. And of course, after their drunken night of hosting Shane's bar, they're still drunk and are at the bar in the back room, chatting it the fuck up. Finley shares that she never had a girlfriend before. Sorry, not sorry. I feel like that was painfully obvious on just how she was moving throughout the episodes in general. Tess leans in and kisses Finley, and she apologizes, and then, of course, Finley goes in, and it's supposed to be this like hot and heavy little makeout session that turns into sex. Finley is a turn off for me because she doesn't shave her armpits. So as soon as the bitch took her shirt off, I was completely over their whole little scene in general. It might have been the sexiest shit to anybody else in the world, but that shit was gross to me because she doesn't shave her armpits. I don't give a fuck, the shit looked gross. And also, I mean, goddamn, they act like all we fucking do is fucking finger each other and eat cooch. Like, I'm sorry, there's other shit that happens when it comes to having sex. Y'all showcase that shit in the original L Word. So, I'm not sure as to why we're not seeing the variety. But yeah, they have junk sex together. So, the episode wraps itself up with Bet, Ange, and Jordy leaving what I have to assume is their school from the play. As they're discussing Angie and Jordy spending the night with one another, confronted by Felicity's husband out there with the crowd talking about Bet fucking his wife. And that he knows that she's still fucking her. So the dude is clearly off of his rocker. And drawing the crowd in as a bunch of teenagers or young adults, whichever. They're out there with their phones, video recording the shit, of course. And dude goes fucking buck shit crazy and aggressively approaches Angie, Bet, and Jordy. From what I saw, it looked like he assaulted Ange by pushing her down, and Bet defended her by pushing him the fuck back. The episode wraps itself up with Bet kneeling over old boy as he's sitting there, clearly, you know, frazzled from hitting his motherfucking head on the concrete as she's calling the police, and everyone's standing around filming. The episode was alright. I guess I can stick with the same rating. It gets an 8 out of 10. Certain things where I'm like, okay, and then certain things where it's just like, well, I would have did it differently, but I guess it works for this little series, whatever. The whole Micah storyline confuses the hell out of me. I'm confused on him. And saying that to say, as a member of the LGBTQ plus community, I still don't know everything when it comes to trans people. And I feel like to put them in this show, you're gonna have a lot more people confused versus understanding, because I thought I had to understand it, but before this last episode, it got me greatly confused on just that whole little lovemaking scene. So yeah, that's my only criticism for this episode, because it slightly confused the fuck out of me, honestly. That's gonna wrap up the review for episode 5. Episode 6 is gonna be airing January 12th. This episode is gonna be called Loose Ends. But alright guys, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this video up. If you like my review, of course, give this video a thumbs up for me. If you fucking with me or you trying to fuck with me, go ahead and subscribe to this channel. Alright guys, till next time. Peace.